Pictures up.
Last looks. Rolling.
And action.
Welcome to the Last Looks podcast, Araxi. Thank you for having me, Jamie. We're finally connecting. I'm so happy. I know. Yay. Okay, now I want you to finish the sentence for me, okay? Okay. Once upon a time, there was a little girl named Araxi, and when she grew up, she wanted to be... Oh, she wanted to be a teen counselor. Okay. I wanted to counsel teens and support teenagers. It's such a sucky time, you know, like the hormones and the emotions and the friends and, you know, you're not quite the child. You have the idea that you will once be your parents or like their friends or uncles or teachers or what have you. And I really wanted to navigate and help people navigate through that process. And did that just come through you having a really good like counselor at school and going, I could help like they do? Or yes, absolutely. I had amazing counselors and that I could remember from junior high school, you know, they were just beautiful women and women stellar. They always had their stuff together. They listen to you. You know, they're the ones that if a child is acting up in class, they call the counselor and the counselor will come and, you know, settle the child that's been disruptive, you know, or that is the person that would ask you about your future, you know, and you're like, oh, you know, most people aren't thinking about those things and they ask you the questions that are in your mind are things that you didn't think were possible to ask or think of yourself. So yeah, I definitely have some great counselors. So how does that, I mean, you know what? That just kind of does lead into hairdressing because I feel like when you're in the salon or you're doing someone's hair, you do become that counselor of sorts, don't you? Yes. So how did you go into training to be, like, did you go that far or did something happen along the line to kind of shift your direction? So I have a fun story. Yeah. Wanting to be a counselor was in my mind. It's something that I applied for. I applied for university, multiple universities. I was accepted to a university in Georgia, but I couldn't go the year that you graduate. You have to wait the following year to attend. So 96 is when I graduated, meaning 97 is when I would have to attend school. And my mother didn't want me out of school that long. So she said, you know, you're going to need to do something in between that time. Why don't you pick up a trade? And I had a boyfriend at the time, so I'm sure that that's why she wanted to keep me busy. And I was like, well, you know, I designed everyone's prom dresses at school, so maybe I can go to Shedem because I also enjoyed designing clothes and such. So we went there and did the interview. The lady told me all these beautiful things. She said, you will travel. Yes, I brought my boyfriend with me. And when we left the meeting, he's like, you're going to leave? You're going to just leave and go to Paris and just be gone from LA without me? So my mind was like, wow, I guess I can't leave him. I guess I can't do that, right? So I didn't do it. So then I was like, oh, well, I left the Clef. So how about Cordon Bleu in Pasadena? So my mom was like, okay, let's, you know, go to Cordon Bleu. And we go there and I do their studies. And the representative at the time said, yeah, you know, this is really cool. And something, lots of math. That's all I heard. I was like, math, I hate math. Why would I do this? I didn't know cooking and math have to go together. Ew, I don't want to do it. So then I was like, I don't want to be a chef now, right? So then my mom said, what about hair? Like, you've been styling your own hair since you were in junior high school. You style your cheerleading squad's hair, your friends. What about cosmetology? I was like, hair? And at this time, I grew up in the inner city. So I grew up in South Central Los Angeles, in between Watts and Compton. And I went to Compton High School. My senior year of high school, we moved to North Hollywood. Complete culture shock, totally different. A lot of buildings in Spanish. You know, you don't see as many brown skinned people there. And so my question was, well, what hair school am I going to? Like, what cosmetology school? How? How is this going to work if I'm in school in Compton and living in North Hollywood? Where? So we found a really cool school in Burbank called Ambassador Beauty College. It's not there anymore. It was on Glen Oaks. And they were stuck in the 60s. They had comb overs. We listened to KRF 101 all the time. And I was accepted there because I was 17 and under their ROP program. And the ROP program in California is where you take teenagers to learn a skill, and then it's just an idea of something that they could do as, when they get older. So I went to school for free. And my grades were good enough, underage, did it. And that's what got me into cosmetology school. It wasn't a pure desire of anything. It was my mother and my boyfriend who turned into fiance at the time that was like, don't leave me. It's just like a matter of chance that I became a hairstylist. And I was the only African descent woman at that school. Person. There weren't any men or anything either. So it was interesting.
Yeah. So, and then what happens to college in Georgia?
So I'm in the school, what my mother knew. So I'm in cosmetology school, doing the things, working at Disneyland as well. So we're living in North Hollywood. I attend cosmetology school in Burbank, but I was working at Disneyland in Anaheim. And I didn't have a car. I didn't have transportation or license. I was on the bus for $5.50 an hour I was making. And
what were you doing at Disneyland?
Attractions. I was the person that pushed the button when you go on a ride. Yeah.
Okay.
Or I would do like guest patrol. Like if there's a parade or something, I'm like, go this way, don't go that way.
Yeah.
And that's the only other job I've had besides what we do now. But yeah, in the midst of that time, we became pregnant with my son. And my mom was like, well, you can't go to university. I was like, nope, can't go to university. It's not in the cards for me. And finished cosmetology school, had a beautiful son, and just lived that life. Now I'm here,
That's amazing. So when you got out of cosmetology school, did you go into salon? Like what was your,
Yes. My question was where and who would accept me? Burbank, you have a lot of older European descent women who get the roller sets, the tents, the piggyback terms and such. And I knew that I was like, is this my life? Like, is this what I'm going to do with my life? It's just do little, roller sets and such, highlights and, things. And I had no idea that the motion picture industry existed. Like I knew that it existed. I didn't know who was doing the hair. I had no idea who was styling the hair for the newscasters or the commercial people. That stuff just didn't cross my mind because it's not a conversation that someone would have with you, at least for me. So in the beginning, I thought I would have to work at a salon on Crenshaw, which is extremely far from North Hollywood. And then I said, you know what? Let me figure this out. And a few ladies were passing out business cards for hair salons. And I received the card, asked if they would accept someone. And I worked in one salon. It wasn't that great. She wanted 50% of everything. And
wow.
I was on the bus and I'm doing braids, right? And, I was doing a forehead of braids, which would take I was young back then, so maybe 5 hours, 4 hours. But I'm charging $70 and I'm only coming home with 35.
Yeah. Ooh.
And at the time, you're just so geeked to have somewhere.
Yeah.
But as time went on, I was like, hey, this sucks. I'm not doing anything. It's hand over fist. So then I started bringing people to my home. Then a hairstylist wanted me to model for her because I had a lot of hair at that time. I asked her what salon she worked for, and I told her I was a hairstylist. They accepted me in the salon. It was on Lancashire and in a really hot spot now, but back then it was just Lancashire and like off Magnolia, where they're calling it, what is it, NoHo now. But it was North Hollywood back then, like 97, 98. And that's where
I discovered actors walking down the street, Tyson Beckford, just random guys just walking to and fro. And yeah, that was basically the beginning of who I am today as a stylist.
Right. So how does that transition happen into film and television?
So I was working at the salon was called the Uppercut.
Mm-hmm.
And at the
I love this.
Uppercut,
Sorry, I'm just going to stop you. But all these
yeah.
names of salons are hilarious.
Oh,
When I travel or go through towns and just see salon names, I wish that I'd spent my life kind of taking quick photos of names of salons because some of them are
I have
hilarious.
I have a fun one. Well, okay, I'm going to jump forward, but we're going to come back to this one. I worked at a salon called Momars. Momars stood for a married couple, Monique Jackson, who is a comedian that people know now, and her husband, Mark Jackson. So it was Monique and Mark, Momars. They had a divorce, and we had to figure out a name because we didn't want her name attached. And at first we were thinking, as a joke, we were saying no Mo, but then it ended up being Just Marks. So everyone knows Just Marks. So that's how we got the name for that salon. That was years down the line for what I'm talking about now.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of fun ones. But yeah, I was working there, and the salon was in a prime location for entertainers. So for record execs, directors, actors, everyone, dancers, whoever. Many of my clients were connected with Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. And Jada would often see, someone's hair. Will would see their hair. It's like, yo, who's doing your hair? They're like, oh, this girl Araxi. She's on Lancashire at the Uppercut. They're like, oh, okay. So she kept hearing my name, and she's like, I want her to style my hair. I remember getting the first call, and she wanted her hair styled. I was like, well, I'm busy this day, but someone else could style her. Because at the time, I didn't hold precedence for celebrity versus, even to this day, to be honest, I don't have a separation of celebrity versus everyday human, right? They're just as important. So I was like, no, I can't do her, but someone else will style her. Something tragically happened the day she came in. She waited a few months, still wanted me to style her hair, but she wanted me to visit her at her house. So that's where the beginning of house calls started. And started styling her hair at the house. And she had the opportunity to, this is like a couple years down the line, she had the opportunity to be a part of a huge project. And the hairstyle that they wanted for her was something that I wore often for my hair to be curly, because my hair isn't curly. It's kind of wild and, whatever. But she wanted me to do the job. So she took me to meet the creators. They showed me a sketch, asked me, could I do this hairstyle? I was like, absolutely. I do the hairstyle. Now I'm committed. And that was the Matrix 2 and 3. So, so Jada is the person that got me into our business with the Matrix. Before that, I was just styling, any celebrity, or entertainer, director, whoever, just because a lot of traffic was up and down Lancashire Boulevard.
Yeah. So, wow, you just went straight to Matrix. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. And I remember I worked one day on Fast and Furious because Ja Rule's braider didn't show up. And they're like, hey, can you come braid his hair? And we have this continuity shot. And I was like, okay, and I go in, I braid his hair. That was technically the first thing I worked on, but the Matrix was the beginning. Yes.
Wow. So do you remember just, I don't know, thoughts and feelings of those first few days of working on a film?
Jamie, I didn't grasp the concept of what was going on in my mind. Like before she asked me to do the film, she asked me if I could be her personal hairstylist, meaning that when she calls me that I would drop things. It's like, hey, it can happen tomorrow and you could possibly have a full day set. Can you leave those people for me because I'm asking you and I have something to do? And I was like, yeah. So in my mind, I'm making this commitment to Jada. So whatever she's asking me to do, it doesn't matter what it is. Like the film set didn't register to me. It was just Jada needs Bantu knots for this. And that's what you're doing. And the Wachowski, now siblings, love the work. They love the triangle parts that I put there, the burgundy hair that I've included into the hairstyle, the shells and things that I add when they were in the other world. It was respectable, but I was primarily there for my athlete. Like I've always had the target of making that person happy with the questions that she asked me initially, because I knew it was different from salon work. You're solely with someone.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, it was beautiful. Like I remember I had a huge crush on Keanu Reeves. And I remember watching him smoke cigarettes, and I was like, damn, he smokes, you know? As if I had a chance, right? But I was like, still like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he smokes from breaking up, right? I remember seeing Lawrence Fishburne. I remember seeing Aaliyah. Just all those great people that were there, and watching the process was really neat. I can share this with you. They tell me at the job, ask me if I can do it. I was like, great. So I come back to the salon waiting. I get a phone call from what I know now is the unit production manager. Don't remember this guy's name. He's like, hey, yeah, so welcome. We want to have you aboard. And, you know, are you in the union? And I was like, no, you know, I'm not in the union. He was like, okay, well, what's your rate? I have no idea what a rate is, you know? So I said, well, I worked in a hair salon and my son has childcare. And he's like, well, tell me what's your, you know, average day. So we ended up having this conversation. I agreed to $35 an hour. And he's like, okay, great. Blah, 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 bye. So he hangs up really fast. Maybe within 2 minutes, I get a call from one of her assistants. It's like, hey, Araxi, you're going to get a call from the film. And I said, oh, they already called me. It was like, what did you say? Tell me exactly what happened. So I tell them about the $35 an hour. And she said, you hang out with me right now. Tell him that you misspoke and you are requesting $70 an hour. This is a huge project. He may talk you down to 60, but that's in a good space. You absolutely cannot get paid $35 an hour working on this project. Like you need to call them right now and call me back. So I call him. He laughs a little. Okay, well, we'll talk about it when you get here, right? So I get there and I make friends with Aaliyah's hairstylist. Her name was Valerie. I can't think of her last name right now, but Valerie and I. And they kept giving us money, cash, and envelopes. And I was like, oh, what's this? She was like, well, it's your per diem. And I was like, oh, okay. So I'm happy with the little cash that I'm getting as per diem, which was, I think it was like $175 or something like that. It was a decent amount of money for, I think I was maybe 20, 21 at the time. And, but I never received my paycheck. So I was like, oh, I don't have my paycheck yet. And Jada every day, did you talk to them about your hourly wages? And I was like, yes, but he keeps blowing me off. And at the time, she was breastfeeding. I'm assuming that was Willow. I can't remember which one is older. But more importantly, Will Smith was filming Ali in Africa. And she was trying to get in contact with his people to make sure if they can get me in a union or do my deal properly. Couldn't get in contact with them. The days were rolling. And he kept blowing me off. She said, listen, this is just the beginning. I need you to be adamant about speaking with this man. Tell him you need $70 an hour. If he tells you anything below 60, tell him you need a first class flight back home. Like you're done, right? And we've done a lot of filming. I was there for maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks or so.
Where was it?
And this was in Alameda. So Alameda, California. So up north.
Yeah.
At a Navy base or Army base or something. And she taught me how to do my continuity, keep my continuity book, keep all my call sheets. Like she taught me all those things. I talked to the gentleman and he's like, you know, we can get into a lot of trouble with you being here. And he just started talking to me as if I was just a small little porch braider. And it started to hurt my feelings. Like I could tell that he wasn't bulging. He was like, you know, you could, you don't want to ruffle feathers in this business. You can go really far. Like he's talking to me in that tone. So I said, and then I need a first class flight home. And, you know, and he's like, okay, I'll send you home. He sent me home Jamie, and Jada said, you know what? I would love to see how long it's going to take me to do my hair tomorrow. Have fun. Go. This is just the beginning. I go home crying. Everyone in the salon was like, "That's so stupid. Why would you do that?" And I said, "Jada told me," and I was like, "Whatever. I'm home."
Yeah.
So she told me it took them hours to try to duplicate what I did. They couldn't do it. They had to wait till they went to Australia, find a woman from an African woman, have her come to Australia to try to duplicate what I did. If you really look at it, you can see the difference between the two. But luckily for them, I did majority of the work for her. And it's Matrix 2 and 3. We shot them at the same time.
Right.
And yeah, that was my first experience. Horrible. But I learned so much.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Ugh.
Yeah.
But
I went on for 10 years to be with her. Yeah. But 10 years, we went from 99 to 2009. And she kept her promise to me and taught me everything I know. She and Will. That system, the system that they have has made me who I am on top of who I am naturally.
That's amazing. I've spoken to a few people now that their actor that has requested them work with them has kind of talked them through how everything works, and that's awesome because I've also spoken to people who have worked under other hair or makeup people who won't even teach them how to do stuff. So that's that is amazing. So when you're starting out in cosmetology, did you have any idea where that career was going to go for you? Like, there was no ideas of what you might end up doing?
No. My brain, the furthest I could think was, okay, I live in the valley, but you're not going to get chosen. My brain told me, you're not going to get chosen to style someone's hair in Burbank because you're not being chosen in the cosmetology school, and you won't be able to, I mean, unless it's a wedding, do lots of weddings, many quinceañeras, but I wanted to do more. So I felt like I had to be amongst my people, my community, where people could trust me. And I didn't feel that I was trusted with certain hairstyles. Yeah. So I was like, wow, I guess I have to go to Crenshaw and work, and I'll just be a Crenshaw hairstylist. And I do these beauty shows, but it really wasn't a part of who I was or who I am today. It's like, I just don't want to be the celebrity hairstylist that's doing all these elaborate hairstyles. I just want to create, make someone happy, and just do the look, still keeping in mind that I really would prefer to work with teenagers and counsel. That was still a heart for me, but I didn't know how far or where hairstyling would take me. No idea. Yeah. Just going through the motions at this point, because, I'm also a mother now. So whatever would bring home finances so we could support our son. Yeah. And I ended up calling him my purpose, because my drive came for making sure that he had what he needed,
Yeah, absolutely. And once you started, had that first experience in film, did you have a strong idea of thinking, I want to keep doing that? Or was it just that Jada kept asking and you wanted to provide?
I think I didn't really take it serious, like film and television. I didn't take it serious until we did a film called Collateral with Michael Mann. Yeah. And most people talk trash about Michael. They're like, he's so crazy. And this is just, I loved him. I love him and his wife. Like he made me appreciate cinema, the little details and things that come about, the little nuances that we overlook as viewers. I remember Jada played a lawyer, and Michael had her name was Annie. Michael Mann had her meet Annie's parents and had her sit in a courtroom to see what Annie would go through what would Annie's diet be? Where did Annie grow up? Like he gave her this whole um, build of this character, this person who
Mm.
she's supposed to be, like gave her a whole new identity. And even to the hairstyle, we were asking how would he like her hair, and he said, you know what, I wanted how it was in the read. So for normal eyes, especially for hairstylists, it was a center part, hair was flat ironed. That's it. Nothing else to it. Center part, flat iron, straight hair. And we did it. He said, no, that's not it. That's not the hairstyle. So I'm looking at her. I was like, what did you do? She said, this is it. She said, oh, well, maybe since it was 4 days old, maybe it was a little, different. So we tried to mess it up a little bit and brush through it a lot and wrap it another way just to give it, not to make it look so fresh.
Yeah.
And he said, no, that's not it. And we were filming in Venice, and he had someone go to their office somewhere really far away, bring the tape of her reading with Jamie Foxx, and he put it on his big screen. And when you look at it, it's a center part, flat ironed hair. But he says, see that, close that, print it. So we're looking at this one print, and it's her leaning over. She tucked her hair behind her ear while she was reading to him. And he said, that's what I want. She said, oh, I tucked my hair behind, okay, we're ready. That's not it. And I was like, child, like, what is it? What is it? And before he gave us the answer, Tom Cruise was sitting with getting his wig together. And I remember seeing him look at Tom, and he goes, it's a few centimeters off on that side, fix it, and walked off. I was like, yo, he's going down to centimeters. Like, he's not playing around. So whatever it is. And he came over to us, and he picked up a business card and said, this is the length of the part I want. And, her hair just enough to cover over. This is what I want. So I said, okay. So I took the business card. I think the business card was maybe 3 inches, 3.5 inches. And I took an inch and a half of her hair, tucked it behind her ear, and let the other hair fall just by her eyebrow. And it dropped. Like, it never changed, because that film takes place in one night. And we're shooting night stuff in the daytime, or we're just completely shooting night shoots. So I'm a little groggly, but as well, I'm trying to keep the look that he sees, because it's absolutely not a center part, flat ironed, one ear tucked behind. It's not that. He broke it down to inches and centimeters of where it stops on her hair. And from that point on, I was like, whoa, he's so freaking technical. And I remember watching a biography about Jerry Lewis, and how, yes, he's a comedian, but he also went into directing and doing all his films, and how technical he was as well. And I was admired by that. I was like, wow, I love that he took the time to look at the detail of his work, and he's so funny, and he's producing great work. To me, Michael Mann and Jerry Lewis had that similarity at the time for me. And I wanted to be a part of that. I was like, I want to be a part of the technical side of the big picture, and from that point on, I was like, absolutely, I want to do this.
Yeah. That attention to detail is insane.
Yes, it is.
But it's so funny. And I've talked about this a couple of times, that I think I just took attention to detail for granted, maybe. I think I had been working with and had people working for me who have incredible attention to detail, like they just naturally do. And then every now and again, I would work with someone who maybe just really doesn't see the details, and you'd be pointing them out, and they'd be like, man, you notice everything. It's just like, yeah, but it's your job. Like, you have to. Like,
what else are you doing?
Yeah, what are you looking at? Yeah, it's just like it's everything from the all over shape when you step back to the tiniest of details, to the way it waves, to the where it sits, to the all of it, and then you're watching that all day. So it's just, I mean, anybody listening that if you're not sure you have attention to detail, maybe
Yeah, you
Pay
want it.
closer attention. You want it because it
Yeah.
really, makes a huge difference. It's all we do all day.
Yes, I love it. I love it,
Yeah.
and it's a weird tick that I have, but it makes the look better. Like even if I'm doing red carpet stuff and they see me walking by staring at them, they're like, "What are you looking at?" I said, "I'm just making sure you look good from all angles."
Mm,
Because also with us, what's annoying is you could pay so much attention to detail. But if
mhm,
you run to the restroom or if you, especially as a department head, if you're handling something else and you just happen to not catch a take or so, and that's the take that they choose. And so you're like,
mm,
damn it, where was I when the continuity was off? Who was covering me when this
mm,
happened? Right? Because
mm.
obviously I wasn't there. And it burns me because I'm like, oh, you just made history with that one continuity flaw. They're like, Araxi, no one's looking at that. I was like, but I'm looking at it. That one
Yeah.
little hair that's like, like it bothers me. So
Mhm.
I need to learn. I still haven't learned yet to just let it go, but it's that one hair. It's always that one take. Like I wish when they're cutting up and doing the dailies and they actually listen to our input. Like, yeah, the
Mm.
lighting might be off, but that hair follicle should not be there. Like shoot the hair over the lighting. Just that once. Yeah.
I
It's
like too
tough.
that he kind of helped you pay attention to a character's backstory and what her life is as to why someone may have the hairstyle that they have or things like that, because that's a massive part of what we do as well, which is
Yeah.
really important, just to understand where in the story where these people live, what their income is, what they do for a living, what they, it's
Yeah.
just kind of like you're not giving somebody $100 blowout if they're,
That's right. She wakes up with $100 blowout.
yeah,
You
exactly.
know what? I worked on another project and this made me see the other side of it,
Mm,
which is kind of the journey I'm fairly on now. We worked on a film called Rain Over Me. It was a
mm-hmm,
Mike Bender, I think was his name, film. And Jada played Don Cheadle's wife,
mm-hmm,
and Adam Sandler was their friend. And it was basically about 9/11. It was a dramatic role for Adam Sandler.
mm-hmm,
They have this scene where someone's knocking on the door in the middle of, early morning, and the director wanted Jada, her character, to have her hair all over the place, like just wild and crazy when they open the door, like, we're asleep. Can't you tell I'm asleep? But during the day, her hair is flat ironed and slick
mm.
and, like it looks really nice. And we're like, well, most women who have curly hair and their hair is straightened, they
That's not how
wouldn't
they're
sleep with their
sleeping.
hair all over. It's not
Yeah.
realistic. And we tried our best to drill it in. And every time I messed it up because it was, so precise, he said,
Mm,
no, it's not messy enough. So she's pulling it and we're teasing it, just something that absolutely wouldn't make sense for our culture. But
mm-hmm.
he's like, this is what I want. She's like, you know what? Forget what you think. Give him what he wants. Let's deliver it and let's move on from it. I was
Yeah.
so unhappy about that because it's not true to the way we live,
Mm,
and no, it's probably not sexy or attractive, but it's a part of your heritage, like you're going to wrap your hair at night. If you spent the money and took the time to straighten your hair, you're not going to do that every day. Your hair wouldn't be healthy, you know?
mm,
It just wouldn't make sense. It didn't make sense to me, but we did it his way. He was happy. It made it in the film.
mm.
um, but for a woman that's looking up to her, looking up to this character, I'm sure they were like,
Hmm?
this doesn't make sense. Like, is she going to the salon the next day? Like,
Mm,
take us on a journey. Like, where's the hair journey? John Singleton taught me that. Like, hair has a story, and um, it has to be written off the page. It's that visual look that you see that also tells you um, the mindset that a character could be in or what's happening
mm.
at that time.
Yeah.
And they totally missed the buck on that. But
Yeah.
it happened.
It does. And I think it's one of those things that you can educate and they can listen, and they can still turn around and go, but I don't want that, I want this. And that comes back to that letting go, doesn't
Yes.
it? I mean, that is I've had a couple of my team members that I've kind of pushed out into other jobs as personals, like recommended them to be personals. And normally the feedback that I'm getting from them, you know, checking in with them on the job, like, how's it going? What's going on?
Yeah.
And I hear, just listen to them. And I'm like, okay, this project's going to be a challenge on learning to let go.
Yes. Yes.
And it
Yes.
is really hard for people who really give a shit about what they're doing and want things to be right or really well done or whatever it is. But I am constantly telling people it's just, you got to learn to let go. Like, you got to,
Yes.
it's just like, as long as they're happy, I'm happy.
Yeah.
It's all it comes down to. Because
Yes.
there's so many times I'll be like, yeah, I don't really like that hairstyle much at all. But it's what they want and they seem to like it. So, okay.
That's true. I was like, you have to wear it, you know? Yeah, that happens often. I don't like when I'm styling someone's hair and you ask for 30 minutes and they're like, how much longer? How much more time do you have? Do you need more time? Is it? I was like, well, wow, it's only been 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Did you? And so I've grown to say, well, you could take them now. Take them. And they're obviously not ready. I'm like, you can have them. If you want them, take them. And they're like, well, I mean, you're not done. Really? Really? How much time did we say that we needed for this? So either you're going to give me my time or you're going to take them to do what you need to do. Like, don't ask me. Don't be passive aggressive. It irks me. It's like, don't do that. If you're going to give me the time, give me the time. Come in at 29, 30 seconds, you know, and get the person. But don't, it bothers me. I'll say, just take them. You can have them now. Go ahead. You know? Yeah.
I like that. So let's chat about some of your career highlights. So projects, what are your top 3?
Well, Collateral is definitely one.
Yeah.
So I could take that out because we already talked. Blackish for sure. Primarily because I was asked to, in my mind, I registered it as I'm being asked and trusted to create a look for present day Black culture for a family. And I constantly thought about the person who styled hair for the Cosbys, right? Like the Cosbys Rudy meant so much to me as a child that I was like, well, I get to recreate Rudy in this present moment, and a Claire Huxtable. And wow, I get to, you know, be the say and the person that says what this looks like. I'm the dictator of this. This is awesome.
Yeah.
That was one main highlight for me, but also winning the only Emmy. It's a happy and a sad because that show went on for 8 seasons. And for 8 seasons, I believe it was 20 or 24 episodes per season. I left 6, but they never won an Emmy for all that great work. Never. No one. You know, none of the Lawrence Fishburne, no one received an Emmy except for my hair team.
Wow.
For one episode, which was titled Hair Day. And that was a huge accomplishment. And to watch the children grow, you know, I love all the children. And I didn't return because they wanted me to only focus on one of the actors and not everyone else like I used to. They wanted me to be a star request. And I was like, I love the show too much to just be here for one person. I want to be involved in everything. This show is my baby. Like, I've been here since the pilot, you know? So that's one for sure. I really loved the Umbrella Academy. I did their season 3, I believe. And I love their the energy, the upbeat. I think we had maybe like 16 people a day. You know, we've never had less than 10 people a day. Wow. And to work in Toronto, their system's weird, you know, sorry, your system's weird, Toronto, for, you know, distant hires. Like, you would have, in case people don't know, they hired me as a department head, but they you also have to have a matching department head making the same rate, hours, wages. Like someone has to match that. So they're just there, you know, it's like a silver spoon ticket for someone from that country, but they're bringing in someone else. It's like, well, why have a distant hire if you're going to do this? Just have your person be it. You know, it's not, I just don't think it's a fair system. I think they're trying to make it a fair system, but it's not a fair system. They're, you know, so I brought my key with me, who was awesome because he is a great barber, groomer, listens well, you know, we could back off each other with different things. And I needed someone that I knew. I didn't know anyone in Toronto, but I met beautiful people, and the work was great. The stunts, I was there for a personal change for one of the actors. So to witness that and be hands-on with that was really cool. Yeah, that goes down in history. I was there for 9 months, you know, and I wish the world paid more attention to Umbrella Academy.
Oh, but, I loved it. It was a great show. Yeah, it was a lot of fun
to me.
It was
watch. It was like my personal X-Men, because I was also a huge X-Men fan as a teen. And my third, it's so tough. I mean, first thought would, it's really hard. It's really hard. It's a toss between The Harder They Fall and The Woman in the Yard. So working on a film that's a horror flick about emotional, mental stability versus being a person to create a Black Western through my eyes of what it would look like, because it wasn't celebrated back then. Those are my two toss-ups. Like, it's hard to just pick one. It's really tough to just pick one.
Yeah, I bet. Well, I mean, yeah, they're all great projects, so yeah, it's tricky to choose. And they I feel like like you're asking someone to choose their
like
favorite
you're so
child
great in
or
different
something.
ways, both of you.
Having done so many different projects, but is there something that you haven't done that you would like to? So a type of project that you haven't worked on that you would love to do?
I'm not sure of projects. I've always wanted to be a part of a production team. Like how Adam Sandler takes his hair and makeup person with him wherever he goes. You know, like they just jump from show to show. Same with Will Smith. He takes his hair and makeup person, they just jump from show to show. I do want to be a part of that system. I've worked on really great projects. I've said no to a lot. And the projects that I've said yes to is because I really enjoyed their stories, or the people that were attached to it. So as long as I can keep that going, but I would love to be a part of a family, especially at this age. You know, like I'm very seasoned now, and I'm at a point where I just want to be a part of production. I want to do what Michael Mann has taught me, which is to build characters, create characters. And that's my favorite part. Like with this downtime now, you know, it's been really tough. I've done a lot of traveling for fashion industry things and with my agency, but it's nothing like film and television.
I know. I always, the only thing I wonder about when working with the same person is if, I think it would be, for me, this is just me personally, I think it would be great if they tended to take on real character driven roles where they kind of visually change themselves from job to job. But I think if they were always doing maybe just contemporary, the same kind of hair, I might get a bit like,
yes,
I need to try something different. As much as the work day itself would probably be really lovely and supportive and a great environment and all that type of thing, I think creatively I just need like a little oomph of something, you know.
I think it's more, I should have said, it's more of not working with the talent, just working on their on their projects,
Right.
like like a Martin Scorsese, you know, like if all of his projects are just,
Mm.
yes, it's a mood, but it's, you know, you have the same system. He has a formula, and then you're able to help create in that formula. That's what I
Yeah.
mean. Like not always working with Jack Nicholson, or like not always styling Will Smith or Adam, but being a part of their production.
Right, right.
Like a creative producer.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I would love to do.
Oh,
And
that's awesome.
yeah, and dictate the look, like set the standard for what the look will be for this story, you know, and say, okay, this is what I want these people to look like. I can hire the hair people to do it, and then we get it done. That's what
Yeah.
I want.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That would be, yeah, I think that would feed the creative soul, wouldn't it?
Yes. That's what I need. Like that's what I'm hungry for now. Like I've worked
Yeah.
on a few TV shows, most recent TV shows, and I was really bored. I was like, this is Blackish 2.0. Or I already know the story. I already know how it's going to finish.
Mm.
And I could do the hair with my eyes closed, but I'm looking at the production like they didn't get the call sheet right, or the one-liners off, or this actor didn't eat. You know, this person's late, or you know, I'm busy doing the producery stuff, and I can't
Mm.
focus on hair because the hair isn't enough for me.
Yeah.
You know, hair is becoming not enough, so I need to be stimulated in other ways.
It's good that you can recognize that.
Yes, I'm in
Yeah.
that space of like, I could do that with my eyes closed, and if you want me to do that, you're gonna have to pay me.
Yeah.
And and then sometimes that's not even enough, you know. So I really want to be stimulated, like the Umbrella Academy. You know, I was
Hmm.
really stimulated over there. Uh,
Yeah.
get lost in the storylines, get lost in the pages. I miss that.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome. And you were talking before about taking your key to Toronto with you. So, what are some things that you look for when you hire your team?
My team, honesty,
Hmm.
honesty. Like if they're feeling a certain way, to feel comfortable to tell me what their thoughts are. If
Yeah.
they can't do a hairstyle, huge P. This has been a thing with me even in the hair salon. If you
Mm.
can't do the hairstyle, don't pretend like you know how to do the hairstyle. Or if you don't know a technique, or if you're feeling uncertain about something, don't put the big undies on and just try to figure it out. Just
Mm.
honestly say, you know, I'm not familiar with this. Either you can give it to someone else, or you can help me do this, and then let me decide how I want to navigate it. Uh,
Yeah.
so honesty is a big one.
Mm.
Learning how to read a room,
Hmm.
it's very important. You know,
Yeah.
someone who understands that they are not the celebrity,
Hmm.
because now we have a lot of celebrities, and it's so annoying. I'm like,
That's
"Oh, what are you
hilarious.
doing?" You know, and
Yeah.
I don't like that celebrity complex that some people have. Like you have to
Hmm.
be okay being behind the curtain,
Hmm.
and or the fan, you know, like not be buddy buddy, but be supportive. Someone who can be supportive of the actor, understand that we have been chosen to protect these people. They wake up in the
Hmm.
morning, get in, or late night, whatever, and they have to leave who they are and become something else. And sometimes that person who they're becoming is sad, demonic, um, something that's against who they naturally are. And that's where
Mm.
their technique comes in. And we have to support that. We have to make sure that they are fully in character, fully tuned out of yesterday into the now, and get them on that stage in time. So
Mm.
someone who could help get them ready in their process of that is important. And integrity. I don't want someone that's just noodling around just to get beside me or the actor, like someone that has standards and
Mm.
that I could trust. Because one day, what if I can't be there one day and I need you to step up and take over for me? You know, someone that could do what I can do, if not better. You
Hmm.
know, I look for that.
So what are some, and just speaking about just skills and with the hairstyling, what are some techniques that, or just styling things that you wish more hairstylists could do or need to develop?
I would say, well, I think what we do creatively comes out of our own, it's our thing. So we can't say what's right or what's wrong of someone's skill set. However, we do deal with humans, and we have to learn how to cater to these people. We have to. You have to learn how to remove yourself from the situation and focus more on the person that's in your chair or the producer or the big picture. Like, we have to help produce a show. And that's the difference between a salon stylist or a red carpet stylist and a film and television. We are a part of a family and we have one goal, and that's to make the project. I think more film and television hairstylists and makeup artists, costumers, whoever you are, creatives, need to focus on the purpose of why we're there, not the possibilities of what it could do for you, not the ambassadorships or the likes or whatever, not that stuff. Focus on the project. If we focus more so on the project and our cast and make sure that we are the elves that help the produce the project, that's what's missing. People are forgetting that it's about the show. It's not about them. You're not the show. We help make the show. And people have to remember that,
Yeah, I think so too. If we're there to facilitate like somebody else's vision, really.
Yes.
I mean, we can have our own within that, but you can't get bent out of shape if we get asked to go in a different direction, because it's
yes. It is. It's not
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you might have already kind of answered this a little bit with what you look for in a team, but what are some professional ethics that really resonate strongly with you?
Ethics. Yeah, I would double down on honesty.
Yeah.
To know that whether I'm in a fourth position, key, department head, whatever your position is, we are a team. Like, people need to work as a team and not go off rogue and do other things. If we can communicate and have one sound action, it's really it's rare. I'm going to be honest, and I hope other people can too, and say that it's rare when you feel like you're powering up with your person, like a Power Ranger, where you need all of you guys, or a Transformer. Everyone's together to make one big project. And we're all good in our own ways, but we all have to make one sound, like a melody. And for those who are able to play the drums and not worry about the piano, play the guitar and not worry about the bass or whatever, for us to work together, be one to create the project and not go off individually I guess team players is the short answer. A team player is something that would be great. And a true team player, not I'm going to listen to you because you told me to do something. It's I'm going to do this because I know that this is the best decision for all of us. And I know that I am the right person to do this job or this task that's being asked of me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. Yeah, I think it just, that team, I mean, you can say that you're a team player, but you really got to put it into action.
Yes. Yeah. There's
just that support system with what we do is just so important. Like,
good word. Yeah. It's I've been in positions where I thought I was being supported and I thought people were respecting the position, because I guess I do come off as a little soft or nice or floaty, tree huggery, and all those things can be true, but I also have another side of getting stuff done.
Yeah.
And you can't cross me, and I can see through things. I'm highly intuitive. So I give my all when it comes to business, because I didn't ask for this. This is something that chose me, as we were speaking before. I didn't choose this. This is where I am. And if someone's asking me to show up for them, I try my best to show up best way I can. So my goal is to hire people that I know that will show up for me, because I'm going to take the burden of, if they mess up, it falls on me, as if I'm department heading or when I'm department heading.
Yeah.
But you have some people who will be there, but they have another agenda or another motive, or they could maybe feel like they can do something different or something better. I don't know, whatever their mindset is, but whatever their mindset is, it makes them not a team player. And then it kind of waters down the foundation that you have, or the sound music that you've made with your team. And that one person could just mess it up a bit, So now, as a department head, you have to decide, okay, does the business person pull this person aside? And, you think about HR and how you're supposed to do things. Or do you take it personal? You're like, yo, you know how hard it is to be in this position, and you know what we all had to go through to be here. Why are you acting like this? Like, why weren't you honest and say, hey, I'm feeling this way, and or leave the project or work better, or just I've seen it for myself, and I've had the conversations with other department heads where they say that you think you have a team, and then the team, it's always one chink in a chain, that's doing something, and then it spills out like a bad smell, and just starts messing with everyone else, and now everyone's lip is curled, and when you could have just prevented it in the first place. Yeah, honestly, like most relationships.
Yeah. I recently had I'd been offered a job and I couldn't start it. And I was just like, well, the only way this is going to work is if I, have this person come on. And so, give them the deal that they need, make them happy, because it's not going to work unless I have this person with me. And then I put my team together. They, went to the meetings, did the prep. I was doing it remotely as much as I could. And I wasn't there for the first week of shooting. And the feeling when I arrived of having production manager, producers, so many people throughout that first week that I was there come up to me and say, your team have been doing an incredible job. You're so lucky to have them, like all of this. And I was just beaming and so happy that they were just like, and they are always thinking of you every time a question's asked. If they don't know it, they're like, but just, let me double check with Jamie Lee, and it's just, I was just so proud and so happy that it was, it was just so great. But I know that there is the odd person that if that happened, they would feel, I don't know, freaked out by it, that they would assume that those people were maybe doing such a good job and they're trying to steal my job. And do you know what I mean? Like there's the odd people who are threatened by that type of thing, which I find so bizarre.
It's ego.
But
it's ego.
Is that what it is? Because I've seen it in action and I'm just like, that's confusing. They were just telling you that your team is great. Like you should be like, yeah, my team's amazing.
Yeah. It's okay. It means that you chose right. How to dictate and who's the person that should be there. I have a woman that I love in Atlanta named Sakitha, and I was able to work on 2 798 projects. Department had 2 798 projects, and if I had to disappear to be with someone else, or if they if some odd stuff happened with their scheduling, she has been the person that was able to hold down the fort. She and Reginald, it's a barber, a groomer there, and every time I come back, they're just super pleasant. I had a friend. Well, I've had a few, but I had a friend named Enoch Williams, who's no longer with us. I used to rely on him a lot, and you know, he'll make sure things are in order. Marcos, like I have a few people that have really held down the fort for me. Tiari, yeah, I have a list of people that have made me really, really happy. So I can understand what you're saying when you're like, yeah, those people were they're your team, you know. Yeah. I've had 98% of my career has been amazing. It has been amazing. Like I always say I'm grateful. I'm forever grateful for the path that God has put me on. I have had maybe 2% of why did that happen, or why did they do this, or you know why, but you learn from those things. I'm grateful to say that it's just a small amount compared to the grand life that I've lived and been able to care for my family. I have 2 children now, and I could say that I've done it thanks to our industry, you know, and with the support of fellow teammates that have been able to support me during the times, you know?
Yeah. That's
And
cool.
continue to support me during the times.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
So thinking back, like what is one piece of advice that has stuck with you?
One piece of advice, I say this in all relationships with when you're dealing with people, with humans. Remember why you said yes. So like there was a reason why you agreed to be in a position that you're in. And sometimes when you're in it, you know, things can get challenging, or you're angry about something sad or doubtful, and you're like, I don't know, you know, you're having these thoughts. That's when you're supposed to remember your why. Like, why did I say yes to this again? Oh yeah, that's right. You know, and then you focus on what your yes was. You know, you can't focus on the things, the roadblocks that come up. You know, someone threw a banana out there, or, you know, all of a sudden they want Santa Claus in the summertime, which is so popular for us. You know, you're like, oh, I didn't know we needed Santa. You know, it's like, okay, you know, and you just go with the flow. And those are just building blocks. But the reason why you said yes should always be the most important and your foundation to whatever you're doing in life.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. Good advice.
Yeah.
So questions that I always ask. One tool or product that you never want to work without?
Dyson. My Dyson blow dryer with the comb attachment.
Yeah.
Before that, I was using the Yellowbird by Conair, which is such a throwback, but it's because that comb attachment is amazing. Like, I will round brush, but I did so much in my youth. I'm like, I'm not round brushing. Like, I'm not doing that. It's too much on my wrist and my hands, and I'm really a lefty. I'm not. Is it expeditious? Whatever that's called. I can't use both.
Ambidextrous. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a lefty, and use my left hand, and I like to finger the hair with my fingers on the other side, not a brush. But yeah, the Dyson, I love them. I love you, Dyson. I love you. I love you. Yeah. Outside, the runner up would probably be the eyebrow brush that I use for edges or for flyaways. You know, I always have that sucker with me, and it looks real cheesy and nasty, but it's not. It just has like product that's just been embedded in there, and it helps me seal everything together. And but Dyson over the brush, you know.
Yeah. That's awesome. And one person you'd like to hear on the podcast?
Oh, there's so many. I would have to go with my day one and say Pierce Austin. If you haven't had Pierce yet,
oh, lady, I've tried.
I'm gonna call him as soon as we hang up. I'm gonna say, yo, you need to do this. Pierce, I have bucks. Pierce is like my big brother, and we're also water siblings. He's a Cancer, I'm a Pisces, and to work alongside him from like 99 to 2009, working on the Smiths, we've learned a lot. He's just a great guy, you know, and he's over Red Rhino trailers. Sorry for the drop, but if you need a trailer, get Pierce's Red Rhino. It's amazing.
Yeah, they're beautiful trailers.
Isn't it beautiful? I mean, I love Pierce. Pierce has always been like a straight A student to me. And Pierce Austin, Coquita Douglas, I love her. Stacey K. Black is amazing. Her story, I've worked with her on some stuff, and to see her pivot, she's actually someone who I admire. You know, she went from, you know, styling the hair to directing, you know, and we did The Closer together. That's where I met her. And she's so awesome. I don't know if she knows how much she has meant to my career, but she's really cool. She was a really cool person to watch. Sandra Dunn. There's a few people out there that are just great souls. Yeah.
Awesome. If you talk to Pierce again, give him a nudge.
I'm gonna do it.
I'll circle back with him, but it's because it's been a while. I've been, you know, I would circle round, and then I think at some point I was just like, nah, he's too busy.
No, I'm going to get Pierce for you.
Yay!
Yes. When I say something, I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna annoy him so much. I'm like, do it here. Yeah.
Awesome. And before we wrap, are you ready for a quick fire round of questions in 30 seconds?
Ooh. Yes. I like fire. Right?
Good answer. Okay. You ready?
Yes.
Do you believe in ghosts?
Yes.
Have you ever been fired?
No.
Are you prepared for the zombie apocalypse?
Yes.
I'd like to know how. What's your favorite color?
Purple.
What's your favorite food?
Fruit.
Fruit? Yeah, that's a good answer. Do you watch more TV or films?
Films.
Oh, you do? Well done. God, I've been watching way too much TV.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so glad we could finally do this.
Yes.
And
yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This is great.